Hello, nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your week in Nerdom Movies Edition for the week of March 19th, 2018. This week in movies, we've got a new Spider-Man spin-off movie, we've got Avengers news, we've got Teen Titans Go news. So much news, so little time. Let's jump into it.
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Before we jump into the news, guys, let's jump into this week's sponsor. This week, again, is being sponsored by the Generally Nerdy t-shirt, the collaboration with the guys over at punishshirt.com. The contest is still going on. Do not forget to check the description below for how to enter the contest and all the rules involved. Good luck to you guys. If you don't get one of the shirts, these shirts are available over at punishshirt.com, and you can buy it for about $20, and yeah, there you go. Good luck. Kicking off our movie news, we're talking Men in Black, and we have this mystery sequel, reboot, prequel thing that we've mentioned a couple of times in past episodes that is going to start filming in June in London. Without like any casting announcements or anything. I'm so baffled by this one because usually with stuff like this, it's a big studio, so they do like they announce things, and in our current state of movies, everyone wants the fans, wants all of us nerds to know what's going on so that we can build the hype machine for them, right? So this is a very interesting take on the spin even on that, because there's no announcements of anything. So everything is still a mystery. Hopefully by the time they start production, we will start getting more information coming down the pipe. So very interesting. Men in Black beginning filming in June means they have a script, a director, a cast. So much is going on, and we don't know anything about it. How does that work? I don't know. But since we don't know anything about it, we got to kick on down the road. We're talking about the Batman movie that Ben Affleck may or may not be a part of. According to Heroic Hollywood, the filming for the movie is set to start next year. So 2019 is when they're going to be filming the movie, so possibly the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020 is when we're going to see that movie actually come out. No official statement on whether or not Ben Affleck is going to be in it, and if he is not, then we don't know if it's going to be Jake Gyllenhaal or John Hamm or any of the other people who have been rumored or wanted, publicly wanted to be Batman. No idea what's going on there. It makes sense that they're going to be pushing this back to where it is, even if they've finished their script by now. We're looking at Wonder Woman 2 is about to go into production. Aquaman is currently in production. The Shazam movie is currently in production. The Flashpoint movie is going to go in production by the end of the year. So that's 4 big name movies, big DC movies that are going to be coming out in the meantime. So we can't then throw Batman in the mix and then let everybody else lose money. So pacing wise, it makes sense. We'll probably see it again, probably end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Kicking on down the road, we're going over to Teen Titans Go. And this is a real quick thing. I just thought this was awesome, and the rest of the internet does too. For those of you that don't know, Nicolas Cage is going to be the voice of Superman in the Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie. And say that one 3 times fast. So the reason that's significant is because back in the day, there was going to be a Tim Burton helmed Superman movie starring Nicolas Cage as Superman. It was going to be the death of Superman. and at one point it was called Superman Reborn, and so on and so forth, but it was basically the death and revival of Superman. And so Nicolas Cage had the long hair and was going to wear the black suit, and there's a whole documentary done by John Schnepp on it, and it's awesome. I'll see if I can find a link so you can watch that or download that or pay John Schnepp, because he deserves all of your money for making that awesome documentary. That'll be down in the description. So yeah, Nicolas Cage will finally get to be Superman, albeit in voice version. He just is voicing him. He's not acting him, but still it should help him with his money problems, I would hope. But so that's the end of that. Next up, we're talking about the new Avengers Infinity War trailer, and oh my gosh, epic. So much is going on there. I don't even know where to begin. I was so like, so it's already broke the Black Panther pre-sale record. Tickets just went on sale. By the time this is airing, will have been on sale for about a week, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, it's gonna be so huge. Get your tickets while you can, because it is going to sell out. But that's enough reaction to that epic trailer. We're kicking on to our last bit of news, and this one we're going to split kind of in two. So there's the news bit, and then there's the conversation bit, because the conversation I feel like is bigger than the news in this case, though the news is pretty big. We have another Spider-Man movie in the works, kind of. It's going to be written by Luke Cage showrunner Chio, sorry if I'm butchering this name, Hodari Coker, and is going to be directed by Spike Lee. The character is Nightwatch, who is a sometime ally of Spider-Man. He has occurred in his own books before, and has kind of popped up throughout the Marvel Universe, but primarily he's a Spider-Man character. So I feel like this implies a lot about what Sony is trying to do with their Spider-Verse, and they're trying to blow it up as fast as possible, capitalize on the fact that they have a great Spider-Man in Tom Holland. So if they can capitalize on all of those extra characters, all those peripheral characters, then all the better, which kind of means that we're going to be seeing Spider-Woman in the next Spider-Man movie, just based on the conversation we had last week about that. And it's also relevant too because Spike Lee and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but Spike Lee is doing a superhero movie, so there's implications there in the broader picture. But the reason I say that now, though, is because Nightwatch, for those that don't know, is an African-American character, is a black character. So they're capitalizing on the diversity push, which this is a natural way to do that. Nightwatch is an existing character already created to be a black man, so why not give him, I mean, he's not exactly the biggest name in the Spider-Verse, but still, he is an existing character. Let's expand his mythology. Let's give him a voice instead of recasting somebody who already exists as one ethnicity into another ethnicity. That doesn't make sense. This man exists. This character is from, I've never personally read anything with Nightwatch in it, but from what I have read about the character, he sounds super interesting. Sounds like there's room to cement some more of his backstory and so on and so forth. So that makes sense. And then the larger picture that I was implying, the second half of this story, is the Variety that broke this. They had a little blurb, and I'm going to read you the blurb, and then we're going to have the conversation. So the blurb is, and I'm going to read the whole thing. It's a little long, so just be warned. The studio, speaking of Sony, isn't tasking any single executive or producer with building the web of Spider-Man characters. Instead, it wants each picture to have a distinct style. That means the characters might be featured in R-rated outings or in lower budget offerings. Sony also isn't interested in producing just conventional comic book movies. Superhero movies have now transcended where they're no longer superhero movies per se. They are essentially genre movies. Columbia Pictures president Sanford Panich is who they're quoting in this. It's not so much that characters have a cape and fly. In Silver and Black, these two women are modern and cool. They may wear costumes, but they're very real and very grounded. So that's the bigger conversation, right? Spike Lee is jumping on the superhero bandwagon, which means the superhero bandwagon is the only vehicle through which major production studios are greenlighting a lot of projects, because that's what the fans want right now. And production and executives and so on and so forth are really narrow-minded in that they see, oh, this is making money, so let's just make 1 million of these. But that's evolved, and that's the part that I'm really hoping to appreciate in the coming months and years, is that, yeah, we've kind of blew our load, to be vulgar, on superhero movies. Yeah, we know they're awesome, and it's really fantastic to see our favorite characters on the screen, but there's not a whole lot of depth there. New Mutants is gonna turn that on its head a little bit. I feel like the Hellboy reboot is also going to turn that on its head just a little bit. But now it sounds like Sony is saying, all right, so if everyone wants to see a superhero movie, let's make a different superhero movie. Let's make something that has cinematic value, that has a varying degree of superhero in it, that has that isn't what everyone else is making, in that we don't want the big and flashy all the time. Sure, the Spider-Man movies are going to remain big and flashy, but in Nightwatch, Spike Lee is an indie director who occasionally gets big theater gigs, and this is a big theater gig, so he's going to take that indie style of his and kind of turn the superhero genre into that. And then if they do a low-budget flick, which possibly Nightwatch will be a lower budget, but if they do something lower budget, like Silver and Black sounds like it might be, then we're forced to do character development. We're forced to not only have the fight scenes that are implied with a superhero movie, but then also connect with our protagonist and potentially our antagonist even. So that the implication here is great and is beautiful. So I can't wait for, because Marvel's got to do something with Phase 4. Once the second Avengers or the fourth Avengers movie comes out, so the second Infinity War movie, once that hits and they start recasting and they start expanding even more, there's only so much you can do with that blockbuster format. You have to start to diversify if you want to maintain the top slot. And Sony kind of sort of is Marvel to a very minor degree, but still they have that contract. There is that connection there. So this could be an indication of things to come. Deadpool was a little bit of that. Logan was a little more of that. And then we get like the Kingsman movies. So Fox is kind of doing a little bit with that as well. And Fox is in the process of being bought by Disney. So there's so much that's going on that they're going to, in order to not compete with themselves and still keep making the superhero movies that they think everyone wants, and potentially everyone does want, but they're going to have to do something to break that apart. They're going to have to give us more genre film, more intimate films, and kind of sparse out those crazy big blockbusters. But that is where we are ending this week's movies episode, guys. Let me know what you think about any of the stuff that we talked about in this episode down there in the comments. Also, let me know what I missed. If there's something in movies that happened this week, then tell me about it, and we'll talk about it next week. Or if there's something else that's happening right now, let me know, and we'll talk about that next week. Just let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper into that conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net. That's where you can find all the links to the social media. You can find the links to the stores so you can get your Generally Nerdy merch. You can jump over to patreon.com/generallynerdy, and that is where you can contribute directly to the website. You give me stuff, I give you stuff. That's how Patreon works. Patreon.com/generallynerdy. If you liked this episode, please click that like button. If you are new to the channel, click that subscribe button. If you are falling behind on your nerd news and you want to catch up, click or tap that box to the left of my face if you are watching me on YouTube, or go to the YouTube and you can see all of the back stuff. I post some of the episodes to Facebook. I post every episode roughly to the audio version, but only a week at a time. Everything older than a week gets deleted, so you have to go to the YouTube to watch all of the back episodes. But before you go, guys, please always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.